Welcome back to CrossFit Milford. Coach Jeff here with Coach Jason. Today we're going to bring you a little discussion on mindset and the mental approach to competing in the open. Whether you're a high-level competitor or just someone doing it for fun, we all realize the kind of pressure that we're under when we do the open. If there's any competitive bone in your body, you want to do the best that you can, and you really want to show out every week. Sometimes the performance maybe is a little bit less than what we expected. Sometimes we really blow it out. But I think whoever really handles their emotional state better is going to perform well, especially at the highest level. All the competitors are going to be good, they're going to be solid, they're going to be strong. So really who goes above and beyond with their mental preparation is really going to separate themselves from the rest of the week. What do you think about that, Jay?
Yeah, I think a lot about that. And the story I want to talk about, I want to open this up with is Dan Jansen. Do you remember Dan Jansen? Sounds familiar, right?
It's an Olympian, no?
Yeah. So an Olympian speed skater.
That's right.
Yeah, so the first time Dan Jansen went to the Olympics, he was favored to win. His sister just died. So he dedicated his event and his racing to his sister.
Okay.
So this first time in the Olympics, in one of his races, he slips. No chance at all winning. Trains again another 4 years. Not just 1 year of like doing a new training cycle. Trains another 4 years for the Olympics. Gets back to the Olympics. Slips again. Out of chance. Third and final try at the Olympics. That's 12 years of his life, right? Not including everything he's done before that. He found out he has a baby girl. His baby girl's named after his sister. It's a super emotional event. He slips in his favorite event again. But then he had another race, comes back, ends up winning the gold in the last race, an event he wasn't favored to lose. 12 years of his life, right? And the point is he didn't just give up. And I think too often in this sport, dealing with the mindset of sport and the mindset of performance, you have to control yourself. Can you train for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years and have a bad workout? Absolutely. You play with you're a professional baseball player. You have national championships. How often you see in your career, you're training your entire year for this, and all of a sudden a pitcher will come out or like a stud hitter, and it's just not there. No matter what. And yeah, you have, and that's going to segue into my next talk. You always see like the main performers or the greatest athletes, right? When they get into that crunch time, they can perform. Yeah. And it's often called like the zone. Why is that? They're just lucky? No, they're not just lucky. It's that they've trained their entire lives with perfecting and perfecting and perfecting. So then their ability, when the time comes to not think and allow their body and their spirit just to work out, it takes over. Yep. And you know that from baseball, that's what occurs. And I think too often when we get into the open is that people aren't used to that kind of like that pressure state, you know. And yeah, you work hard, you train, and everybody's training hard, and everybody's doing conditioning and weightlifting and gymnastics now. There's really no secret. Like just like in baseball, just like in basketball, there's no secret. It comes down to hard work and doing the little things really, really well. And I think part of the little things that CrossFit is going to start to understand is a mindset. And that's not really a little thing, as you know. And being able and training themselves to perform over a span of 5 weeks in a highly pressured state is the next kind of concept that people can eventually start getting into that we're working on a lot here. But I think that's my first point. My second point, Coach, deals with judging your performance and not yourself. I think too often times, and you've seen this in baseball and you see this as being a great CrossFit coach, is that people get into these workouts and if they have a bad workout, they judge themselves on it. Right? Like you can come in, like you play baseball, you don't hit, I mean, I sucked hitting. That doesn't judge who you are. Mm-hmm. That doesn't judge what you do. And I think when people can learn to control that and understand that if their performance isn't ideal, don't beat yourself up over it. Learn to control that and learn to utilize that for the next week. Because you still have a whole another week, right, with the next game.
I think if I could just make a quick one on that, and how I related to the sports that I played growing up. We are in the first week, and whether you may, everybody that we know that we've been training with, they had good weeks. They may have been a little bit less than what they thought, but it's like the first inning of a baseball game. We've got 8 innings left to go. You know, if you can't score a run, you're not going to win. But it's a long game, so you can't let one quote unquote subpar performance dictate what you're going to do the rest of the 5 weeks here, the rest of the 4 weeks here. So that's, I think, what you're trying to say is, it's still early, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's going to play a major role is because week 1 was essentially like 2 weeks to do the workout, right?
Yeah.
So I think the people that hit it again like 3 or 4 times, they might be a little banged up. Like I think the leaderboard might be completely like flipped upside down. And I think what's getting people caught is that if you didn't have a great performance, getting too much caught looking at points and thinking, oh, well, in the previous years, the 20th person had like a max of 20 points, and right now I'm in like 80th place. So that means I'm only allowed well, it might not operate like that this year due to the fact that some people might have done it so many times that the next workout's just gonna expose them more. They shouldn't be there, So I think keep that in your back pocket, and also understand the tension between being tense and being calm, right? And that's something we talk about a lot here, is that being tense in workouts is because you're trying to be something you're not. You're trying to compensate for something that isn't quite there, it's not quite ready yet. Yeah. Being calm and being able to get into that zone and having that performance means that you truly understand who you are. You
trust yourself.
Yeah, you trust yourself. You know yourself, you know where you are, and you allow yourself to perform. I think athletes really need to grasp that. Is that don't be so tense. When you're so tense, you can't control your emotions. Derek Jeter coming out in his final game at Yankee Stadium. He's not tense. He's like, this is any other bat. I've been here 100,000 times my entire life. I do this every single day. I'm just going to do what I can do and perform, And I think that's the key thing in this sport, is that learning to control the tension, learning to control the stressors, and understand who you are and where you are at this time, and allowing yourself just to not think and operate and flow through it.
Yeah, I mean, you're preparing for this moment, and we've been there before, and depending on how many years you've competed here. I used the description today about Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. They're down 28-0, and he just keeps chipping away at a bad first half, bad third quarter. But when the time came, he just rose to the occasion. Of course there's pressure on him. They're in the Super Bowl, but when the time came, he just trusted that he was the best ever.
Yeah.
Right? And that helps me, that if you're the best ever, that helps.
Right.
But he just trusted he was the best ever, and when the time came, he rose to the occasion. Instead of letting the pressure engulf him, he took over the game, and that's kind of really a metaphor for what some of us may have to try to do here in the Open too.
Yeah, and it's actually funny we were talking about today, Julian Edelman, right?
Edelman,
what he kept saying, because he was mic'd up, is it's going to be a great story. Yeah. It's going to be a great story. And the thing you're going to realize that the people who are able to have these miraculous comebacks, the people who are able to miraculously keep performing, if they have a bad start, keep kind of hammering out, it's not magic. It's the fact that their mindset is dialed a different way. Right. Their mindset isn't reflecting back on what went wrong. The mindset is reflecting, only thinking about what they can do and what they can control for the future, right? Because you can't control 17.1. Yep. You can do nothing about it anymore. However, you can still allow 17.1 to control you.
I heard a great quote once. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it said, "Live your life through the windshield, not through the rearview mirror." Live your life through the windshield, not through the rearview mirror.
Yeah. So the athletes moving forward, if you allow a performance in 17.1 that wasn't ideal, then that's going to control you for 17.2, and that's going to affect you. But if you're able to look past it and you just focus on what you can control, which is your performance, you can control what Dave Castro's going to throw out. You can't control how you're going to feel. You can't control what's going to happen with a certain piece of equipment. You can only control yourself. You can control how you're going to look at the next workout and what you're going to do to put yourself in the best possible position to get one step closer.
That's right.
And then let's look at what the Opens really are. When it's all said and done, there's two options, right? You can look at it, and hopefully at this point, you'll be able to take another step closer to what your goal is. Or if you're not quite going on to that next level, then what's the last thing to do? Reflect, learn from the data and the information, because you need that, and then make adjustments to move forward. It's not oh man, I stink, I'm the worst, this is just not the thing for me. No. You take the data that Cross is providing us of hundreds of thousands of people who spend the world, and be like, okay, what do I need to do to get closer? And for some of us, it's like, okay, I need to train my mindset more. I need to put myself in pressure situations and learn how to perform and learn how to stay relaxed, right? So there's so much learning opportunity here, but just keep in mind, guys, from the coaches at CrossFit Milford, control your minds, control what you can control. That way you're not overly tense, which could have a detrimental effect on your performance.
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
17.2 released tonight. Jeff and I will be doing a live feed with every single Opens workout. We can probably cut that part because this will probably be released
afterwards.
Yeah, we'll cut that part.
No, we're not going to cut that part. We're going to let that roll, but just come check us out anyway. I hope that helps, guys. We understand that all athletes are different and that everybody's going to handle their own mindset and how they feel pressure. They're going to handle it a little bit different. There is no one set answer to that. But, we hope it helps. Hope to get you thinking about a couple of things. And don't forget to come check us out at competitors.crossfitmilford.com for more information. And I think we do have a YouTube page. We'll come to you a little bit later with what our YouTube page is to see all of our videos. Anything else?
Good to go.
Good to go. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.